What's up, Laker Nation, and welcome into episode 21 of the LakeShow Flow. I'm Gio with my co-host Joe.
What's up, y'all?
So it's been a little bit of break we took. We missed 2 games, and we're sorry about that, but we're back at it, and it's not pretty right now. The Lakers are down bad, the podcast is down bad, and if you're struggling and you're watching these games like we are, then let us be your LeBron and AD and carry you through these hard times because. Yeah. It's been wild, man. It's been wild without our 2 stars, man.
Yeah, it's been tough, but what do you expect? If you look at the roster, it's not even like we're just down our 2 stars. You're down Marc Gasol, which is another big guy. We're having to rely on starting people like K-Cock.
K-Cock's in there.
McKinnon's getting minutes, So there's not a lot you could expect from this team, But tonight we basically we played the Pelicans.
Yeah, we lost 128 to 111. A lot of people were comparing the starting lineup to when we had Kendall Marshall in there, Jody Meeks, Bazemore.
If you're a real Laker fan, you know about these guys.
Ryan Kelly, Jordan Hill. That was our starting lineup at one point when Kobe was hurt. And, we haven't been down bad. They're this bad since then. But we'll get into this game, guys. It was, we started competitive,
We had it close for a bit. Even though we were shooting like horrible, we were close, I think. Yeah. We were only down at by 3 or 5 in the first quarter, pretty much.
Yeah, we're hitting threes, and it pretty much was keeping up with their paint presence because right away you can tell that our paint protection was at its all-time worst because we got rid of our boy Damian Jones, and that could be a telling sign of what's to come. Maybe we know we're gonna get Andre Drummond, but right now we're bleeding. We couldn't stop the bleeding. Even if we had Marc Gasol, it would have been better.
I still think Marc would have been bad though because he's so slow.
Yeah, he probably would have got dunked on.
Zion would have attacked the paint and he would have got fouled, But like you said, we had no paint presence in this game. K-Cock was pretty much the starting center, which he's probably a small forward to be honest with you. So it was to be expected. I almost feel like this was just a game to see the young guys and see what we have as far as our depth. Like you said, on their side, you pretty much had Adams go off. He had 14 points in that first half. And it was to be expected. Like I said, there was really no one that could check him. And then Williams had 13 points. So their bigs 8. On our side, we basically had Trez. That was it.
Trez was getting fouls, and he wasn't making all his free throws, but he was just at least creating some type of offense for us because we didn't have nothing going on. Markieff had 11 points in the first half, but he was still not really too efficient with that. And then we had Wes surprisingly made 3 3-pointers, which I wish we could see that when the team's healthy. But
yeah, that was all he contributed, But with Trez, like you said, back to him, he had 10 points. He's pretty much the last few games has been like the shining star in these lineups. But I feel like tonight, because they have big guys, they have Adams and they have Jackson Hayes, who's young, but he's still tall. I feel like even though he had a great game, he didn't have the Trezmanian Devil game where he just went off for almost 30. So I feel like that's where, as Laker fans, we talk about where we need size and a true center. Because I feel like when we play teams like this, who have a true center like Adams, or in the playoffs, we're going to run into the Jazz, who have Rudy Gobert.
Jokic on the Nuggets.
We need someone that could compete with those guys. So
at least defensively too. Like Trez, as much hustle and as much heart as he has, he can't make up for his lack of size against those guys. Like he's gonna get eaten alive when we see them in the playoffs. So we can't. We're gonna need someone. Yeah. Gasol's still not. I don't know. Maybe if he's ramping himself up, getting conditioned. I don't feel comfortable going to the playoffs with Gasol as our starting center. I'm still hoping on, Andre Drummond, which we'll get into some trade rumors and stuff at the end after we talk about this game.
Yeah.
But to start off, I wanted to see more from Kuz. He kind of had a slow start. So did Dennis. You just want to see more from those guys because I feel like Trez, he's going to score double figures no matter what. He gets fouled enough. He does enough second chance opportunities. He's always going to get his. But Dennis and Kuz, when they're aggressive, is when it's kind of what we need right now. And Dennis, I've always said it, he's at his best when he's attacking.
Yeah, and I feel like this is the perfect time for him to attack because there's no one else in the starting lineup that demands the capacity of shots that AD and LeBron do.
And the thing is, too, with the team right now, I feel like our team is, like Kuz said it, he said the team's built around LeBron and AD. So they're pretty much trying to adjust to how it's going to work now. And I mean, obviously, this isn't the long term. This is the long term view on what the Lakers are. When we have our 2 stars healthy, we're not going to be relying on Dennis Schroeder, Kuzma, and Harrell to carry us.
Well,
so,
I mean, they're role players on the team.
Yeah, so
it's any team in the league. If you take Paul George and Kawhi from the Clippers, trust me, they're not going to do great. Or if you take, KD and Kyrie and Harden away from the Nets, they're not going to do great. Everyone has their stars. Ours happened to be out. It wasn't going to be good, But it was just one of those games where you were hoping you could see someone step up and do good.
Yeah.
I mean, other than Trez, there was really none of that. I mean, that whole first half.
Yeah, the first half it was ugly.
Yeah, well, we basically had 2 runs for 3 minutes that we didn't score at all, and then we had a run where we only had 2. We only had 2 field goals for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's ugly when that happens, especially right now. Like we're just desperate for offense. So when we don't see it for that amount of time and for that many times, like separate times, 3 minutes here, 3 minutes there, that's gonna come back to haunt you. And then I mean, New Orleans has even though they didn't have Lonzo today, they got Zion, they got Ingram. Obviously they had that size with Steven Adams, so they had enough, to get it done. And I mean, like I said, we couldn't stop the bleeding inside. Adams was pretty much getting wherever he wanted. Alexander Walker was just kind of walking into the paint. Like he had a few layups in there. So it's tough, like you said, without our stars. But everyone that's, happy right now, all these teams, all these Laker haters, they could be happy right now. We're gonna have our guys back. We're gonna be back to what we do. I saw these memes, with LeBron and AD and these healing chambers. They'll be back. So I'm not too worried. I know our guys will excel in their roles when LeBron and AD come back.
Yeah, if you're a Laker fan, you shouldn't be worried at all. This is not the team. Like anyone that watches basketball and has followed basketball knows that the Lakers are capable of great things when they're fully healthy. So I mean, this isn't the full team. Even with AD and LeBron back, with the trade deadline coming up and the buyouts, we potentially might even have a better team when they come back. If we can land Drummond, who's reported to be in LA right now.
Yeah. You know what scares me about Drummond being in LA?
The Clippers?
I literally was thinking, nobody's talking about this.
I was thinking about that too.
Like, what if they got Zubac, bro? Like,
I
and Ibaka. But I mean,
see it happening because I seriously thought about it too earlier, but I was like,
if they could put Ibaka at the 4 and run Drummond at the 5, and then I'm just saying, like, you never know. You saw the Clippers work really silently. Jerry West he's a silent killer. Like, he brought in Paul George out of nowhere. No one expected Paul George, and then next thing you know, Kawhi. That summer was wild. So
I could see it, but I feel like the difference when that whole situation was happening is LeBron was on his way to LA. It wasn't really like he was there. So now LeBron's established, AD they're both there in LA.
LeBron had played a year, but he was hurt.
But I'm pretty sure they've run into Drummond, even though you're not allowed to. It's considered tampering.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm pretty. There's no way that you're in town and you just don't. See
I mean,
LeBron.
if you notice, I didn't see LeBron on the sidelines for this game. No. He might have stayed in LA to have a little talk.
Chilling, was it Taco Tuesday or is it Wednesday?
Is it? No, it was Tuesday. Yeah,
it's Taco Tuesday.
He might have had some tacos with Drummond. So
the Drummond.
a little Drummond drama. Yeah. But no, I mean, like we said, we could potentially have a better team, like Joe said. But this was the Ingram show. We got to give our boy some credit. We didn't talk too much about him, but
he's an X.
He's still my boy, though. I still think about him on nights like this.
You got that Wolverine meme where you're holding the picture and it's Ingram?
Yes.
No, but what we talked about, too, because back in the day, me and Serge would have this argument about who was better, Kuz and Ingram.
Yeah.
Right?
I chose Ingram.
And Ingram, I chose Kuz, and I still stand by my word. But anyways, Ingram has flourished with the Pelicans, but he was never going to be this with the Lakers. It just, you don't.
Yeah, I mean,
with the team we have, he was never going to get the opportunity.
And I'll make it clear though, you guys have heard me. I love Kuz too, but with Ingram, I could see it on those nights where he would take over games down the stretch and stuff, especially when LeBron was hurt last year. But like that was when LeBron was hurt. So
I think Kuzma even has a higher career high in points. By the way, just throwing it out there. I think.
Maybe.
I think Kuzma has a 40-something, like 49 or something like that piece.
Well,
I don't think Brandon Ingram's ever hit 40.
He might. We don't really pay too much attention to the Pelicans, but we could check that. You can go ahead and check that. What I was going to say was with Ingram and with Kuz, they obviously have different offenses that they're involved in. Kuzma has to defer to LeBron and AD. So obviously he had to create his own role. He's not really relied on to score, 20 plus a night. Ingram, it's basically him and Zion are the ones that are they're basically their LeBron and AD. So I understand what Joe's saying about, I even see it with Kuz. He's had to adjust his role like every year he's been in the league. And I think he doesn't get enough credit from like people that watch a game like this where he starts slow. They don't really give Kuzma enough credit because you got to realize, when he first came into the league, he was there with Lonzo. He could just do whatever he wanted. Our team, we didn't have, we had LeBron, but he was hurt. So Kuzma and Lonzo kind of like did their thing a little bit. And then, you go to the next year, then not only does he have to adapt to LeBron being there, but he has AD now. So it's like it's hard to find a role or be comfortable scoring when you have two crazy stars that outshine you, no matter what. So I understand, it's just great to see what he did this game because even though he wasn't scoring in the first half, he was getting rebounds. He was getting assists.
Oh, he got a lot of rebounds. I feel like what hurt him in the first quarter, he was trying to be more of a playmaker in this game, which someone else had to do it. Dennis couldn't just be the guy that just get all the assists. So I think Kuz was trying to take that role.
They both had seven assists. So that's good.
and I just looked it up actually. Ingram's career high is 49 and Kuzma's is 41.
Okay.
So they're in the same realm of
I think
scoring.
Kuzma might have did his when he was like younger in the league
I think it was like
too.
his rookie year or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point. I mean, in this game, like I said, it was evident that with the core we have, I don't feel like we have a star yet. Kuzma has shown flashes, but you got to be consistent, especially games like this where it's you're asked to do it.
Yeah, because
Ingram was show out.
Ingram was tearing him up in the third. But I mean, it's hard when you're pretty much like out of nowhere. You got to pick up so much slack, So I can give him that. I can give him, some sympathy with that.
Yeah.
But he started showing out. He started making some threes. I think he had like 9 points in the third quarter.
Well, he had 13 points in the second half. He had 3 in the first half. So.
Yeah, so it was that third quarter he hit like 3 threes, right?
Yeah, third quarter he had 3 threes in a basket. So, I mean, it was a good second half. If he could have had a potential 10 points in the first quarter, he would have had a solid overall game. He would have had like 23 points. He
still had, 16, 10, and 7. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what you kind of want from him when LeBron and AD are healthy, Yeah. So he pretty much matched what we expect, but we expected more when he's like one of the main parts of our offense. So
yeah, and I mean, for them, what pretty much killed us in the second half was pretty much killed us in the first half. I mean, Zion is just on another level.
He's a big dude.
He's so big and fast. Obviously, when we have AD, it's a different story because we did play him once this year, and Zion didn't really do too much in the paint. But today, he just happened to have a free lane. Ingram did his thing. But the main thing we could take from this game, I would say, is Trez. I feel like is slowly emerging and is gonna become, maybe a potential star. I know they've talked about. I've heard reports them talking about shopping around Trez.
I don't believe that.
I've heard it on like Laker Nations and all this. So Lakers sources are talking about it. But,
I just think I'll say this. I don't believe as much into it. I heard that the Hornets were looking into it, but who are we gonna get from the Hornets?
They were talking something about Miles Bridges, and
I'm just like, no, like I don't think Rob would do that. I think maybe the least I believe is that
I'll take LaMelo. Yeah. That's all we want.
You give us LaMelo. I mean, he's hurt though.
Give us LaMelo on Bismack Biyombo, and we call it a day.
LaMelo hurt though. I ain't gonna take a whole rest of the year with LaMelo hurt.
Give us. I honestly, realistically, if they offered LaMelo for Trez,
going forward,
I would do that in a heartbeat.
If we can get Biyombo,
it's not gonna happen. But
stop the bleeding a little bit. That's a good hypothetical.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. But
the least I believe is that Rob's might be listening to the right offers. I don't see him giving up Trez for nothing. I think and we can go into trades. I mean, like we said. We lost 128, 111. Like we said, this isn't the team that we expect to see in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So this team is built around long-term health, like, that's established. But I think at this point, when it comes to Trez, I'm not giving him up unless it's like we're getting an established, like, no-brainer player, Yeah. And I don't even know what that is for Trez, to be honest.
Honestly, I would do Miles Turner.
I mean, yeah, if you get Miles Turner, yeah.
I would do Miles Turner, something like that, or,
I'm just not going to, I feel it's like scary to give up Trez for like a wing player or shoot. I want to get a center back, Like
would you give up Trez for Mo Bamba?
No. I don't think Mo Bamba's shown
The
enough.
only reason why I say that and the reason why I might do it is because the salary with both of them.
We'll save money.
Mo
Yeah.
Bamba's still on his rookie contract, so you'd save hella money. You would loosen up so much cap for next year.
Yeah, that's
to
true.
potentially use it to sign someone else. I'm not saying it's going to happen either. These are just all hypotheticals. But I mean,
Yeah.
if you're listening for
I mean-
offers, I wouldn't mind
If we can get
getting younger and getting someone cheaper.
if we can get Bamba and like something else and a pick or just picks,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I consider it. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't. He's one of the last people I'd even think about trading.
Yeah.
When it comes to all the rumors in terms of like, Bradley Beal's still, his name's always floating around. I think he might be happy with West right now, with Westbrook.
Yeah.
But I feel like the reason I'm bringing that up is because for wing players, there's only certain players I would give up THT for.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people talk about THT. He's one of our main trade assets because he's young and he's showing a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm only giving him up for like, in a package for maybe Oladipo. He's injury prone, so I don't even know if I do that.
It's a risk.
But if we can get Oladipo, when he like a healthy Oladipo defensively.
What about, let me ask you this. What about Aaron Gordon from the Rockets? He's talked about he wants out.
Yeah, I just feel like Aaron Gordon, he is good offensensely. He can catch lobs. He could do his thing. He's still not the tallest guy, so I feel like we're almost.
No, not Aaron. Not from the Magic.
Oh, I thought because he's supposed
He's
to be getting
requesting.
traded.
I'm talking about
Eric Gordon
Eric Gordon from
for THT.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Nah, because that's like a right now move. That's like we need shooting right now. But THT, I feel like that's just long term. Like I wouldn't trade him for just a quick
I feel like
fix.
that's what's gonna happen though. I don't feel like we're gonna trade him for just another young guy. If we trade him for anything, it's gonna be an older guy. Because at that point, you're not gonna trade him for another young guy. That's just a lateral move.
Well, I heard this. I heard that the Rockets, wherever they send him, or I think it was, I forgot what the team was, but there was a trade scenario where they would send Oladipo out, but the team that would get him wouldn't. I think it was the Magic. That's where he got drafted. Supposedly, they would need a third team because the Magic, he wouldn't want to be there, so he wouldn't do the trade. So if the Lakers get involved and say, hey, we'll throw you THT and, KCP or Kuz, no, not Kuz, or Wesley Matthews or something. We do our part, throw in THT, and we somehow get Oladipo out of it. We might have to throw in some future picks. We can't really. Yeah. We only have picks for the future.
We have second picks, but not any first.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we can get something like that to happen, we don't really have too many assets right now, so that's the problem. The only people that have really good value are THT and Kuz, and I don't want to get rid of them. So if anything, we're looking towards buyouts. Yeah. And Drummond, like you said, is in LA. I would just think in the possibility of the Clipper thing. I don't think it's likely. No. But it is just scary that they might have access to him too, to kind of brainwash him into going to some franchise that even with 2 stars can't get it done.
Still can't get it done.
So
Little brothers,
man. So yeah, I mean, those are pretty much the main guys, like we said, in terms of trades, in terms of free agency buyout market. I think Drummond is going to end up in LA. I have a good feeling. I don't know why. Yeah. But if we get him and then we get a healthy LeBron, healthy AD, it's over. I think, it's going to be competitive. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not ignorant to think we're just going to sweep people and just, it's over. But that's the missing piece for sure.
Yeah, because Drummond's not going to require any type of scoring. He'll pretty much get his stuff off of offensive rebounds, so it's not like we have to run anything for him. And he clogs up the paint defensively, so he solves the paint points.
Him and AD down there?
Some big guys.
Yeah. So
even LeBron is a good help defender these days, LeBron could play some help defense too.
We miss LeBron, man. And let me just get into this real quick. We see how much, our offense, like even with LeBron just in there without AD, I mean, you could just see it, bro. Like, our offense is so different. And I mean, when we talk about LeBron being a help defender, I'll take a 36-year-old 18th year help defender that's in there in defensive win shares. I mean, I don't expect more, like I don't expect him to lock down the main players anymore, but if we can get that from him this year, he gets blocks, he does his thing still.
Yeah, just help off the weak side.
Yeah, do what he has to do and get some steals, get some blocks, Yeah. I still think you're underrating his effectiveness. We'll get into that in another video, but we still need you guys listen, we showed hints of it in the beginning of this podcast, but one day we will have a full-on video where I hopefully get Joe to fully appreciate LeBron, because my man's here. He, I feel like he still has something. And you know what? I used to have it too. A long time ago, Hold on. I'm going to see if it's this.
Go ahead.
A long time ago, once upon a time,
Tell me.
we were both in the same boat when people, LeBron was in like his third year in Cleveland and people already put him above Kobe.
Okay.
In the GOAT discussion, he kind of skipped over Kobe, which I don't agree with either.
Okay.
I understand the resentment. I understand when he took, a route that we never really seen before and went to Miami. I didn't like that either, But when he went to Cleveland again, he came back from 3-1, did that great run. That's when he gained my respect a lot more because I felt like that was a championship that was like a lot more meaningful.
Okay.
Then, our team's in shambles.
Okay.
We don't know what's going on. No stars are coming to LA for a while. And then finally we get LeBron.
Okay.
We land the biggest fish we could possibly think of.
Okay.
He comes to LA and brings us out from obscurity with just himself. We didn't get AD right away. Maybe he knew that he can somehow get someone eventually, but he came by himself with just a young core and he saved us. So no matter what,
we still missed the playoffs though, but
we did. He had a groin issue. He had a groin issue. We had a young Lonzo. We had a young Ingram. We didn't really have much, but
necessarily, we were still out of the playoffs. But anyways,
we were. But hold on. One more thing. I'm sorry. Just based on that, I just feel like eventually you have to let the other stuff go, and you have to just think about it in terms of. I know you want to still judge him as that prime LeBron that everyone was like saying he was the GOAT and was like, every little thing was magnified. The reason everything's magnified for me now is because he's old and he's doing this at an unforeseen age. And I'm not going to fault the guy for taking care of his body and being, having the genes and the futuristic technology to last longer. I'm not going to fault a guy for that. I'm just going to watch it and appreciate it. That's how I feel about it.
He's the second best player of all time, basically, behind Michael. And
Wait, you're saying that right now?
I've said that before. I hold him to a high standard though, because he is that. You're not great and don't get held to a high standard. Tom Brady has a bad game in the NFL. Guess what? People tear him to shreds because he's Tom Brady.
Yeah,
that's just how it goes. If you're gonna get talked about as being potentially the best, that's how it goes. It's in any field you're in. If you're the best, you're held to a different standard.
But I just think when it comes to Brady and Bron especially, they're doing this at like their resume is already there, but they're doing more. Everything now is just a bonus for them.
Yeah.
Like Tom Brady winning that championship, he didn't need that. LeBron winning last year, he didn't really need that. Yeah. You know what I mean? No matter what, if LeBron,
this is turning into a video. We can't do this right now.
I'll finish that thought. If LeBron, Lord forbid, had a career-ending injury before he won that championship last year, his resume is done. People are still going to put him, some people behind Jordan.
If I throw centers in my top, by the way, he's not two, in my opinion.
Who's two?
I think Kareem is the second best player of all time. If you throw in centers, a lot of people when they talk about their top ever, they take out centers. Because I think Kareem, that skyhook you can't beat it.
It would have succeeded even now.
Yeah. You can't beat it. So that's if with centers, he's like the third best player of all time for me.
Yeah, you can't argue with numbers, and you can't argue with that unblockable shot, But
I might even say 4. Because check it out. This is the thing though. I feel like when people talk about their top,
you can throw Shaq.
I think Shaq because when people talk about the best ever, there's two ways you could look at it, right? Mm-hmm. You could look at it as like, are you looking at someone's career stats? Because if you look at career stats, of course LeBron's so high. But if you look at people just say them at their prime, their best ever, their skill set. Where do they rank in far as greatest ever? And I think Shaq in his prime is like just Shaq, you can't stop that guy.
If Shaq was less reliant on his God-given ability, and actually put the work in, like Kobe always wanted him to, for them to that's what they bickered about. Yeah, he would have been it would have been insane.
That's what I'm saying. Once again, another video though. We're going.
It's a whole nother video. But the relevance to this game, we can talk about Zion. Like, Zion doesn't need a jumper to be effective. And that's pretty much, Shaq would be that on steroids. Like, how big he was. Like,
that's crazy. Shaq would just bully this kid. If it was like right now, Shaq would just bully him. Like, it wouldn't even be a contest.
That's what's crazy, yeah. But like we said, I mean, we're getting into a lot of other topics, but hopefully it was fun for you guys to hear a little insight on that. Yeah. I just had to bring up a little LeBron stuff. Yeah. That was a very organized argument we had right there. Trust me, guys. off the podcast, Joe's girlfriend seeing had to witness some way worse, like controlled little arguments. We never got too crazy, y'all, so don't worry. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this episode, it was a little bit different. Usually we, kind of break down number by number, quarter by quarter. If you guys enjoyed the new format, let us know if you missed the old one. Let us know that too, because we'll be willing to, you know, adjust just to make sure we're doing our best at this. Like, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, like the video, comment, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Be safe, Lake Nation.